Hey, what's going on, guys? So the latest hotfix for Crimson Desert, patch notes version 1.04.02, is basically one of those updates that tells you the team has been listening closely and cleaning up the rough edges as fast as possible. The interesting part is that yesterday they had already pushed out two separate updates, one major revised patch and then another hotfix, and then they followed up again with this new one after more issues were still showing up for players. That means this is not just a random tiny tweak. It is part of a very active round of fixes aimed at smoothing out the experience across platforms. So, one of the first quality of life changes is that minimum font size settings now apply immediately, which sounds simple. But for a game with a lot of menus and text-heavy systems, that is a pretty useful fix because nobody wants to keep toggling options and wondering whether the game even registered the change. They also fixed the strange issue where starting a new game while another save file already existed could apply the wrong difficulty, which is the kind of thing that can throw off an entire fresh run before it even gets going. On top of that, the update cleans up a bunch of interface problems, including disabled parts of the guides UI, awkward layout issues in the fishing dock vendor, and Tanner shops, and a weird overlap problem where the wrong UI layer would respond first when the extra rewards list and content guide were on screen at the same time. There are also some fixes here that sound very specific, but those are usually the ones people notice the most once they happen in play. For example, if you changed a pet's name before and saw the trust notification suddenly show the wrong animal name, that has been corrected. Keyboard and mouse players get a fix for the HDR settings menu, where key inputs were not working properly while adjusting HDR under others' video. Shop cutscenes have also been tightened up so the fade-out does not drag on too long. Horse gear can finally be dyed properly, and localization has been cleaned up across all languages. There is even a PlayStation 5 Pro fix for the screen brightness issue that could happen when PSSR sharpness was enabled, which is the kind of thing that can make the whole image feel unstable even when everything else is working fine. And because the team had already made broader changes in the earlier update, this hotfix also reminds players that some of those improvements are already in place. The slightly increased character movement speed, the Greymane contribution shop with Carl at Greymane Camp, and the change that keeps furniture from being pulled back when expanding the camp were all applied in the earlier patch version, and the camp relocation behavior was improved too, so furniture can move along properly in that specific case. That matters because it shows the studio is not only reacting to bugs, but also steadily refining the camp and progression systems around them. In other words, this is not a patch that tries to reinvent the game. It is a patch that tries to make the game feel steadier, cleaner, and less annoying in everyday play. And honestly, that is the kind of update people appreciate the most, because when menus behave correctly, settings stick the way they should, cutscenes stop dragging, and gear dyeing finally works, the whole experience feels more polished, without needing some huge dramatic content drop to carry it.